This one line stops you chasing. I'm good either way. 4 words that completely shift the power dynamic in any relationship. Most people text back within seconds, desperate to keep the conversation alive, terrified of being left on read. They're slaves to their notifications, prisoners to someone else's attention. That ends today. You're about to learn why your constant availability is killing your relationships and destroying your self-respect. Every time you drop everything to respond immediately, you're telling them your time means nothing. Every double text screams desperation. Every "you there?" reeks of neediness. The person on the other end can smell your anxiety through the screen, and it's repulsive. Here's the brutal truth about boundaries in dating: the moment you need someone more than they need you, you've already lost. This isn't about playing games or manipulation tactics. This is about fundamental self-respect and understanding your own worth. When you text back instantly every single time, you're broadcasting that you have nothing better to do than wait for their message. You're telling them that your entire world revolves around their response time. Is that the message you want to send? The Stoics understood something most modern daters don't. Emotional self-sufficiency is the foundation of all healthy relationships. Marcus Aurelius didn't sit around waiting for text messages, obviously, but he understood that needing external validation is a form of slavery. When your mood depends on how quickly someone responds, when your day is ruined by being left on read, you've handed over complete control of your emotional state to another person. That's not love. That's addiction. Think about the last time you sent a risky text and then stared at your phone, watching those 3 dots appear and disappear. Your heart rate increased. Your palms got sweaty. You probably checked your phone every 30 seconds, maybe even deleted and rewrote your message. All that energy wasted on someone who might not even be thinking about you, while you're having a full anxiety attack over their response time. They're probably just living their life, completely unaware of the emotional hurricane they've created in your head. Setting boundaries isn't about being cold or playing hard to get. It's about recognizing that your time and attention are valuable resources that shouldn't be given away freely to anyone who asks. When you respond immediately to every text, you're essentially saying, "I'll drop whatever I'm doing for you, anytime, anywhere." That's not romantic. That's codependent. And codependency is the death of attraction. The most attractive people aren't the ones constantly available. They're the ones with full lives, important work, meaningful friendships, and personal goals that take priority over random text conversations. They respond when it's convenient for them, not out of fear or obligation. They don't feel the need to explain their response time or apologize for having a life outside their phone. This isn't about being rude or dismissive. It's about having genuine priorities that extend beyond seeking validation from potential romantic partners. Here's what happens when you establish real boundaries. People start respecting your time because you respect it first. When you don't jump at every notification, when you finish what you're doing before responding, when you don't feel obligated to maintain constant contact, something shifts. The dynamic changes. Suddenly, you're not the one chasing. You're not the one waiting. You're not the one whose emotional state depends on someone else's texting habits. The Stoic approach to relationships recognizes that you cannot control another person's actions, only your responses to them. You can't make someone text you back faster. You can't force them to prioritize you. You can't manipulate them into caring more by being constantly available. What you can control is your own behavior, your own priorities, and your own emotional responses. When you master this, you become genuinely attractive rather than desperately available. Stop treating every text like an emergency that requires immediate response. Unless someone is literally dying, that message can wait. Finish your workout, complete your work project, have dinner with your family. Live your actual life instead of living in your inbox. The right person won't disappear because you took 2 hours to respond. If they do, they were never worth your time anyway. The fear of losing someone by not being constantly available is based on a scarcity mindset. It assumes that this one person is your only shot at happiness. that if you don't cling desperately to their attention, you'll end up alone forever. This is nonsense. There are literally billions of people on this planet. The idea that your entire romantic future depends on how quickly you respond to one person's texts is not just wrong, it's insane. When you operate from abundance rather than scarcity, everything changes. You stop chasing because you know your worth. You stop obsessing over response times because you have better things to do. You stop letting someone else's communication patterns dictate your emotional state because you've developed actual emotional resilience. This isn't about not caring. It's about caring about the right things in the right proportions. The person who's right for you won't need constant reassurance through immediate text responses. They'll respect that you have a life. They'll appreciate that you're not desperately available. They'll be attracted to your independence rather than threatened by it. If someone loses interest because you didn't text back within 5 minutes, you've dodged a bullet. That person was looking for a servant, not a partner. Here's the practical application. When you receive a text, pause. Don't even read it immediately if you're in the middle of something. When you do read it, ask yourself if it requires immediate response. 90% of the time it doesn't. Respond when you've finished what you're doing. When you actually have time to engage properly. When you're not just firing off a quick reply out of obligation or fear. Set specific times for checking and responding to messages. Maybe it's once in the morning, once at lunch, once in the evening. Whatever works for your schedule. The point is to be intentional rather than reactive. You're not a customer service representative required to maintain instant response times. You're a human being with priorities, responsibilities, and a life that exists beyond your phone screen. The most powerful boundary you can set is the boundary with yourself. Stop checking if they've read your message. Stop analyzing their response time. Stop crafting the perfect reply that will guarantee immediate engagement. Stop treating texting like a performance where you need to be constantly entertaining, constantly available, constantly on. It's exhausting for you and ultimately unattractive to them. Remember, I'm good either way, whether they text back or not, whether they respond in 5 minutes or 5 hours. Whether this conversation leads somewhere or fizzles out. You're good either way because your happiness, your worth, and your life don't depend on their digital validation. This isn't indifference. This is freedom. And freedom is the most attractive quality you can possess.